G'day folks, and welcome back to Circa Joe. Now today, this is going to be my first ever podcast situation thing. Now, a lot of you are probably be wondering, what the fuck is happening? Why am I sitting here in a desk with dragons on it and a background instead of at my table watching a TV show? Well, as you can probably tell, I sound and feel a lot better. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but the video prior to this has all the information that you probably want. If you want to know more other details that I could possibly answer, then I could do so. Anyways, enough about that. I want you to see that today, once again, I'm saying it's a podcast. I don't actually have a name for it yet. At all. I will eventually. This podcast isn't just going to be about books that I'm starting to read and all that. It's going to be about movies or TV shows or anything, honestly. Just no politics. But today, for my first ever podcast ever, I will be talking about this book that I recently read, Fourth Wing. My brother here as a guest. Say hello.
Hello everyone. Hello.
Yeah, so this is my brother. Should I go by your first name?
Just Will be fine.
Will. Yes, so that is my brother. He's the one that had read all three books of the trilogy, starting with Fourth Wing. I have read many books, but they were online novels. Most often not, if you have read novels like web novel app, from the app of web novel and so on and so forth, you know, not all of the novels are correct in the way their sentences are and how they show it all, like grammar, all that shit. So I have been reading. I've been reading for a very long time, but this is my first time actually going to proper books that are edited over and over again to the point where it's really good. Yeah, so today we will be talking about Fourth Wing, how my experience is, and what William's experience was, and then we'll talk about theories and so on and so forth. Now, I am already reading the second book, almost finished that, but, you know, constantly doing other crap, it takes time. But there will be another podcast episode of this podcast for the second and the third and other books that I'm excited to announce later after I finish this trilogy. It is trilogy, right?
For now, but there is an unknown book coming out and book 4.
Right. Yeah, I heard that there's also a picture book or something like that.
There is another book coming out, I think, October this year. It's unnamed, no one knows what it's about. It's not book 4 apparently, but
3.5.
We're not too sure. We all think people are guessing it's Riddick's point of view, but
right.
Or Liam's notes that he sent to his sister, but we're not too sure.
Right. So that's what's going to happen down the track. So we'll see. I'll be the first on top of it to read it and then talk about it. Okay, so it's pretty much, we're going to start our best from first chapter, work our way through it, but no guarantees of going by chapter by chapter by chapter, because I've read it ages ago and I've just gone through it to make sure that I remember anything. So first and foremost, how did you come into the book? Where did you come across it? How did you get into it?
Well, to be honest, I never really read fantasy. It was never really my thing, or any books for that matter. I just played games and watched movies, but I think online, my friend kept sending me these books to read. I was like, I'll give one a shot. And then I was like, this is probably going to be boring. I'm not into this whole smut dragons and all that kind of stuff thing. But yeah, I started to read. This was the first book I read to take off me. Now I got tons, but in the first couple of chapters, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be boring. I'm just gonna give up. But as I kept going through, I just got more attached to it, more excited about it. I wanted to know, and I loved the cliffhangers it gave me, and it just made me question through the whole book what the heck is really going on, because I feel like there's just too many people lying, too many people are betraying each other, and it's just one chaotic mess, and I just love it.
Well, that's how he got into it, guys. So the way I got into it is by my brother, Will, here. I was having trouble trying to find something new to read because the web novels were just the same style over and over again, to the point where I was like, fuck this shit. I need something else. But the problem was, when I read, I go into the main character. My mind becomes the main character in a way. So I read from how they feel. I guess you could say I become them. I have read novels that have female main characters, but I've never stepped into the place where it's a straight female. Because I never wanted to picture being the female, you know. But no, seriously, it didn't happen like I thought it would. I actually liked it. I did become the main character like usual. But when it got to the intimate scenes, and so on and so forth, there was only pretty much one full intimate scene in this book that time.
I can't remember. There was basically, but you know, you had to lead up to it, and then
There was a lot of tension leading up to that, though. Fucking hell, that was a lot. But yeah, no, I quite enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. I also liked how in the book it was different to many other books that I have come across, where it was always the male that was trying to take the lead, trying to go for the woman. In this, it was actually Violet who went for it, who constantly tried to stay away and so on and so forth. But it kind of shows that Violet actually has more control in the relationship. But that's getting ahead of us. So let's first talk about a few of the characters that we first met in the first chapter.
Yeah.
Now, for me, personally, when we introduced the mother, I straight up, the way the mother was, the sister, how do you pronounce that? Mira. I thought so, Mira. It was like, there's no way it's going to say Mira and it's spelled Mira. I'm like, but it's like that. It's pronounced that way. Anyways, so in the first chapter we had 5 names brought up. 3 alive, 2 dead. We had the mother, the general, which...
Sorrengail.
Yes. We had her first. To me, she was pretty much a bitch, but as someone who has read books, usually that shows that she's just a tough mother who is trying to protect her only 2 kids left from getting killed or whatnot. I don't know what it was about, what were they hiding, what anything was, because, you know, at the time I didn't know shit. Then we had the sister. The sister, Mira, it was already shown that she was going to be a protective sister, caring, understanding. But at the same time, how far would that go throughout the books? Because usually books change things, change how the main character sees things. And then, of course, we got the main character, Violet. Now, from their description, the way I actually liked the way she described it. Pale skin, pale hair, a sickly body, I think it was. And to me, that was such a great way of describing a character where anyone could become the main character. There was no pinpoints of anything else apart from those few descriptions. But at the same time, simple descriptions, but yet a heavy impact on what we knew straight away. She was sick. She is sick. She's weak. Her body doesn't allow her to do many things. And that's where many other theories came along, which we'll get into later. And then the other two characters that got me intrigued, and straight away I was already coming up with ideas of what this book was going to show. One of them actually happened, the other didn't. Now we have the father who died and was a scribe, which, by the way, was Violet's journey to become what she was going to become, a scribe, until her mother decided, fuck no, you're becoming a dragon rider. Fuck. And then we have Brendan, the brother, is that right, Brendan? Yeah, the brother, who is also dead. But the way he died and stuff slowly got told and stuff like that, but it wasn't really said in the first. Now, what I straight away thought between those two dead people, the father and then the brother, is that, okay, there's somehow, somewhere, one of these people, or at least both, or maybe just the one, is actually alive still. There has to be a way for two dead people that were talked about a lot throughout the books, the first book, constantly, that there's no fucking way an author would just constantly talk about someone who was in the past, unless it was for a plot for the main character to overstep. But throughout the book, I never saw that situation. So in the back of my head, until I actually came across it at the very fucking end, is that Brendan was a fucking alive, and on top of that, works with enemy number one. Which, by the way, as we all know, not an enemy. And straight away, when Violet first met Xaden, it was already kind of obvious what's going to happen. The tension, the way she saw Xaden in only a few descriptions, by the way, already showed that there was something else apart from hate. It was there. It wasn't shown, but you could feel it. Just there, I don't know how to explain it, but it felt like there was a bit more description, I guess you could say, towards Xaden when Violet saw him.
Yeah.
And
that's her eyes are locked completely on him, and her whole body and mind is just focused on what he looks like and what he sounds like as well, because it's just the way he's described. It's like full on detail that she wouldn't describe most of her friends throughout the book.
Yes. Which is interesting, because both the mother and sister never got mentioned the type of voice, didn't they? No. It was only his.
Yeah, I think once we kept reading, and these characters slowly started to appear more, like the sister and the mother and everything, we got to know more about them and understand what they look like and who they are and how much power they held and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And you can't forget her best friend, Dane, of course. You slowly learn what he's like, and you're on the edge. When you find out what he does, you come on the edge of, you just hate him because of what he did. But there is a part where you understand what he did because he thought he was trying to protect his best friend.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So, another interesting detail that I found interesting was, as I said, because I read a lot, that I could see a few different plots already happening, like anyone would who likes to read a lot, was when there was little detail about how Zayden was the son of a rebellion who a rebel, I should say, a son of a rebel who went against the Empire, the king.
Led.
But the main character Violet never knew any other details apart from the details that she knew, right? And straight away there, I was intrigued on. Hold on a second. Why do we not know much information? Is there more to it? Is there stuff that is hidden? Is it possible that this rebellion was actually in the right, or was something else happening? And I got curious about that. So, curiosity kills the cat. I kept reading. But yeah, and then a bunch of other characters, minor characters at the time. We got to know Mira's dragon, and so on and so forth. Not too much, just a bit about the fact that the dragon scale armor that Violet got from her sister was made from Mira's dragon scales, which was quite nice, knowing that she had a bit of an advantage when needed. And on top of that, 4 daggers already, which, by the way, she's already fucking amazing at with throwing them. Not too good with the attacking situation, but that makes sense since she was
fragile with everything.
And she also was studying to be a scribe, so she wasn't studying to know how to fight or whatnot to become a dragon rider.
She was basically born sick. That's how it would describe it. She had a fever and all that. She was born sick. And, like my brother said, she was meant to become a scribe like her father. But things changed and the mother forced her to become a writer. She had to cross that. And it gets me thinking of what's the reason why she wanted her to do this.
Yes.
And she knew what was out there, especially the mother knew what they were really going up against. Yet she didn't tell any members of her family at all. She just forced them out there into this.
Yeah, which, by the way, is pretty fucked up. Especially that situation. And, I'm already getting things that I want to say about a few options, but I can't say that yet until we get to that. But as I was saying, I did write down a few notes as I was going through them last night, 'cause days went by and I got pretty busy. We met enemy number 2, who became enemy number 1, Jack.
Yeah, no one likes
Jack.
that prick.
Fucking hell, bro. Like, the fact that he straight away was, get out of the way, push someone off the fucking edge. What was his name? Dylan? Was it? I can't remember. I swear it was Dylan. Or something like that, because, yeah. A minor character that gets killed off in the first trial. Which, by the way, is already fucked up. A trial that you have to walk against an edge of a cliff, try not to fall, and it's fucking raining and windy, that you just have to try and survive.
It's a small little bridge, the parapet, and they don't care if you fall.
And by the way, I love how detailed it is to show how fragile Violet was. She slipped at one point and already broke her ankle, sprained it. When a normal non-weakened person wouldn't have that wouldn't have happened to him, even with a slip. Which, shows just from our own experience throughout life. Not everyone's experience, because some people, have weak bodies, which I hope you're all doing well. But most people have a strong body, just in general, without even working out. So a slip like that wouldn't have happened. But then again, we don't fucking go across a cliff for a trial to get into a school.
And get pretty much... Yeah, because from that moment on, as soon as she was starting to cross that, she was being hunted. Because she was the weakling.
Yeah.
They wanted to get rid of the weakling. Especially Jack. He just went straight after her and just wanted to kill her right there and then.
Well, at the start, he knew who her mother was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone knew.
Jack pretty much wanted to take out the general's daughter to show that he's better than a daughter of the general. Which...
Do you reckon that would have been a bad thing if he did?
No, because the mother wouldn't have done anything.
Maybe. Sister might have.
I highly doubt the mother would have done anything.
Sister might have.
The sister might have, yes. But the mother wouldn't have. But at the same time, nothing would have happened anyways, because we found out... Was it in the second book? Yeah. The second book...
You're not talking about the second book.
No, the first book, sorry. I'm reading two things at once at the moment. I'm like, did it happen in this one or this one? No, in first book, after she escapes from thinking. No. That also... Yeah. Okay. That's my fault. I'm thinking of second year again.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what happens when I start doing a podcast and I'm already on the fucking second book. So, yeah. What was I saying?
I can't remember.
No, I can't remember either. Everyone else will remind me. Let's... Chapter 3... not much really. Oh, Dane. How can I forget Dane? Fuck. For a best friend, he not only is too overprotective, because he grew up with Violet and knew what Violet was like.
Yeah.
But he kept fucking trying to get her to go to the scribe's quarters every single time. He even made it so when she got hurt and was taken to get Nolan, to heal Violet, he would not allow Nolan to actually heal her.
Yeah.
The normal magical way that he does. All because he says, I don't want you to get healed up. This way, maybe the scribes can fucking take you in a lot easier. Like, what the fuck mindset is that?
Yeah.
Not only is he already showing that he constantly fucking follows the rules of a place that most rules
don't exist.
Don't fucking know. Just don't make sense. Especially when the first rule or something like that in the conduct was that riders obey their own rules or some shit. What was...
Yeah, well, riders could kill other riders.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
It just never made sense how he wants to follow all the rules, yet he's breaking them.
To get one out. Yeah,
but at the same time, Yeah, this is in the first one. At the same time, he allows to pretty much get Violet to almost get killed.
Yeah.
At the end. Mm-hmm. Which is fucked up. And he knew. He knew what was going to happen to Xaden and that. Didn't know exactly. Because he didn't know about the vein.
No, he didn't.
That's the right term, right?
Vein.
Venom, guys. It's venom, not vein.
We might be getting some name wrong. So
yeah, I should probably say that. I will most likely get names wrong. As most of you already know, I get names fucking wrong. Yeah, no, the fact that he fucking does all this shit and doesn't even listen to her, which kind of pissed me off as the person who's reading from the main character's perspective. I, as someone, just wants to just scream at him and say, shut the fuck up. And stop saying what I don't mean. You know? Don't put words into my mouth. Don't fucking do things for me when I don't want that to happen type
Because
situation.
he still saw her as the girl he grew up with, which was fragile and always sick.
Yes.
That's all he saw, was a sick girl going into a rider's quadrant, which is very dangerous.
Yeah, and on top of that, he still fucking did it.
He still
even
ripped.
after fucking getting 2 dragons, even after Violet got accepted by
yeah.
2 dragons, got past that, got past all the killings that were going after them, all the assassinations and shit, and yet he still treated her as a weakling. And I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
Like, did this school, academy, whatever you want to fucking call it, changed him so much that his own thinking corrupted him as well?
Well, that's
By the way, his father's a fucking idiot.
Well, that's the thing. You hear about his father all the time. He's a prick as well. But
Yeah.
nothing gets mentioned really of his mother.
Yeah, that's actually a thing. We don't know anything about Dane's mother as well.
No. So the question is she dead? Or I assume she's dead. I probably read it and completely forgot. She's probably dead. But he's pretty much identical to his father in a way.
Yeah.
Because that's all he grew up with, was his father. His father probably drilled these rules into his head and he couldn't make his own decisions anymore. It was basically what he was saying was his father's words, not his words, not what he probably felt. He just couldn't because that's who he was. A smaller version of his father.
Yeah, exactly. He was getting taught slowly to start using his ability, mind reading,
Steal secrets.
to steal secrets without it being asked, and he did it on his own best friend when she said don't read her memories, which is fucked up. But yeah, and also I liked how straight away when she was going to her first lesson to bell briefing, Dane took her away, tried to get her out, blah blah blah. But once that discussion was over, Xaden was already there, watching her.
Shadow Daddy.
Shadow Daddy, really? No, just just fucking watching her like a fucking orc. Just, this is the person that I need to keep a lookout. By the way, we all, especially me, thought he's consciously just wanting to kill her, but at the same time was like, yeah, there's something else going on there.
Like the way he looked at her when you're reading how she was describing was that he wanted to kill her.
Yeah.
Because of who her mother was. Wanted to get revenge. And he pretty much killed her brother in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, which, by the way, is when she did mention to Xaden, we're even now. He said hardly, which, by the way, straight away was a massive hint to me, and straight away I knew that the brother was alive, because it's not even evens when your brother didn't actually die.
No, but
Like, it's hardly even when your brother's not dead.
you read
Type
that.
situation.
Yeah, you read that. I'm not going to mention because it's in the second book. But when she bonds her dragon, Terranok, his rule is he never mentions the previous rider. There's a whole thing that he never mentions. And he does get mentioned throughout the book, but he doesn't mention him.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so chapter 4 was when there wasn't much happening in chapter 4 apart from Dane trying to talk
Yeah.
Violet out of it and all that stuff.
I think
You know,
early
it kind
on-
of fillers, but at the same time, information to show the characters' development, characterization, or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah, because early on in the chapters, you basically live in her life what she has to do with herself every day. She has to pretty much strap herself up so she can do all the courses that are meant to be done And because she already hurt herself on that parapet, so she, throughout pretty much most of the book, she was strapped because she couldn't do much.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, you went on the journey with her trying to do this because she was pretty much behind everyone.
Mm.
And she had no advantages because her brain was the mind of a scribe.
Yes.
That's it. No, everyone else that's on there pretty much have prepared themselves for what's going on. A war, basically, with themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And, so when she starts learning, okay, she starts poisoning the contestants she's got to go up against, you know, inspiring, that's her advantage because I found it quite hilarious that she poisoned one of her sparring partners with orange pills.
Yeah, which, actually, come to mention it,
Just to weaken them.
I liked how, in the battle briefing, which was part of Chapter 5,
Yeah.
was showing how smart Violet was,
Yeah.
because she grew up learning, reading all these books from history
Her father
and,
taught her.
and stuff about just herbs in general.
Yeah.
Anything she could get her hands on because she was weak.
Yeah.
And so her mind was strong.
Yeah.
Her willpower is strong. She's constantly fighting through pain. So technically speaking, even though her body is weak, her body
Mine was powerful.
her body at the same time wasn't weak. Her limbs, her bones were always broken. That part was weak, but her body walked through it constantly. So technically speaking, she was never truly weak.
Mind over matter.
Right. And anyways, I was saying, it showed that in Chapter 5, how Violet was so smart that anything, so from not only history and stuff like that, but she knew tactics when it comes to battle breathing and asking the right questions. But she didn't want to stand out because she was the daughter of the general.
Yeah.
And as a weak as her mentality thinking, because she's weak, easy prey.
Easy prey. Yeah.
Exactly. But, yeah, so Chapter 6 was when, fucking Dane not wanting to let Nolan heal her. Oh, that's right, sorry. As I can see, I'm writing things down, skipping over things. Anyways, Chapter 5 as well, the reason why Chapter 6 happened and all that shit was because not only was the battle briefing happen, it showed how Violet was weak when fighting others. How she almost died by Imogen, which, by the way, are Mark's ones. I should have mentioned, yes, it's pretty fucking cool, the Mark, the relic, and also what was his name? The one who put it on them? The one who owns the Black Dragon.
Professor... I can't remember his name, but I know he's dragon.
He's a fuckwit anyways.
Yeah.
Well, the one who owns the bigger Black Dragon, he's a douche, who, by the way, put, as it was stated throughout the book, that he put the relics onto them, and will be able to see wherever they are. However, there was a downside to it, which I kind of picked up after it told us, which was like early in chapters before Chapter 10, was that no one that is a marked one is allowed to have any more than 3 people at a time together. Which in my head was like, hold on, why 3 exactly? Why not 4 or 5? 3 seems strange on the lower end of the it's not like they're going to be able to do anything even with 3 people or 5 people. But then I was like, hold on. The ability, the rune, it was pretty much a rune, a mark, part of his abilities or whatever the fuck it was, allowed him to see anyone 3 people or less. And that got me thinking, does that mean that anything higher than 3 he won't be able to see? Which, of course, got confirmed later on track. And on top of that, the fact that Xaden and other marked ones constantly were going in and out
In and out.
of the school. Didn't know why at the time, without getting caught.
Don't get caught.
You know, there's all this information about that this guy, the one who owns the one who is packed with the dragon that is pretty much the boss of all dragons at the time being.
Yeah.
The leader of the dragons, and he isn't doing anything about it.
Mm.
So that kind of confirmed at the same time that
He didn't really care.
he didn't know.
No.
And yeah, so that also happened and showed us how easy another option, how Violet could easily get a limb broken during that fight, which which also in chapter 6, after she went back to her room, well, first year's room. No, not first year's, the candidates. Yeah, when they weren't actually part of the school yet, when they had to share the room, she got given by her sister a book, a journal, which we found out later that anyone who is dead, all their belongings get burnt.
Yeah.
Which represents that the book that she was given by her sister Mira was prohibited, forbidden to have. And it shows information, and the first lot of information that Violet used was where the information is about who she fights.
Yeah.
For the matchups, for the sparring matches, which she took advantage of, and knew where places were, which got to seeing the tree scene, which got me intrigued. So because of all this information, she finally was able to, find out that Xaden and the pack was planning on still killing Violet, but when he said to them, the youngest, how do you pronounce the last name?
Sorrengail.
Sorrengail. The youngest Sorrengail is mine, is what he said.
Yeah.
And I quote exactly that. She is mine to deal with. And I was like, okay, so he's possessive. There's a fucking trait right there that shows he's possessive. He's a bad boy. Yeah. He wants what he wants, and he will get what he gets. Unless there's a fucking deal. Which, I was mentioning this, by the way, that he made a deal with the mother, got all the cuts on his back.
Yep.
And, which she asked... No. She doesn't know it was from the mother.
No, because he doesn't talk about that.
No, that's in the same... But we do know it had something to do with the mother.
So it was
It was obvious there was a deal between him and the mother. She didn't know, but it was obvious.
You could tell with him, he wanted her, Violet. He wanted Violet,
Yes.
but he didn't want to get too close.
Yes.
He didn't want to involve, because I feel like he's keep secrets. I still think he's keeping secrets.
He's constantly
He's keeping secrets. And all she wants is one little bit of information from just to feel a bit connected, and he won't let on. He knows more about her than she knows about him.
Yeah. And by the way, this got me crazy because this was how it opened up to the Venom was Violet having to go with Xaden on that mission that Dane's father made him go do, which was to get them killed.
Yeah.
but it never happens. I was shocked to find out that Zayden was helping the Flyers, the riders of Griffins. And that got me shocked. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, kind of obvious, but what the fuck type situation. And, you know, I'm skipping a bunch of crap here, but
there's a lot.
the fact that the fact that his father died,
Yep.
and then finding out he's doing pretty much the exact same thing, but instead of actually showing them that it's happening, he's secretly doing it, because obviously that's what would happen when he fucking ability is shadows, so kind of obvious. And it was crazy when I found that out. It was crazy how fucked up it was that at the time, this was when those two started dating. So she felt like the love that they had was all fake, because she was not told any of this, which is understandable why he didn't say anything. Not only was she the daughter of the general, but also on top of that, the information that she would find out was something that would get her killed no matter what, on both sides, by the way. And that was pretty fucked up as well. But let's go back a bit so we can talk about a bunch of events that happened prior to that.
I love that.
Because that just was a big thing. First and foremost, we finally met a few other people. Her few friends, Riddick, and then Rye, which Rihanna. I wonder if it's her nickname is actually Rye, R-H-I, or Ree, but still R-H-I.
Well, if her name's Rhiannon or Rhiannon, I don't know. It would have to be Ree, wouldn't it?
But could it be Rihanna? There's always different pronunciations for names. So I'm curious about which one it was. Was it the first one, Rihanna, or the second one, Rihanna? Which then would mean if it was Rihanna, it would be Ree, or Rihanna, it would be Rye. Let me know about that, please, because I'm always curious about that.
Yeah.
Especially when I don't want to stop reading halfway through a chapter or something like that, and like, what is the pronunciation of this name? In my mind, I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna like it like this because it sounds nice. Is pretty much what I do.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that she was first and foremost, the amount of people that constantly died was crazy. Yeah. And on top of that, in front of her face, someone that we started loving was one of her friends. It started with an A. I kind of forgot the name because it's been ages. Got killed on the parapet, yeah. Which was crazy. It sucked, but it was an eye-opener for Violet. That you can die any time if you just not paying attention. If you get distracted by looking at dragons, you're dead. You know,
even your own bloody professors can kill you. Pretty
much. With the guy who first got, one of the guys who got their ability, and it was mind reading. Straight away, instead of thinking, oh, let's take him out so other people don't see it, the fucking one of the professors just comes up and goes, just dead. Just like that. Just in the middle of everyone. It's literally saying, if you got an ability like this or any other ability that we do not want you to have, you're dead.
But it's not just that. If you had a mind reading ability, it's like, oh, you can see everyone's secrets, we're going to kill you, but they get people like that to steal people's secrets.
Yeah, that's another thing, is that Dane fucking has a mind-reading ability, but because it's only by touch,
they let him live.
Yeah, but on top of that, what other secrets are there that show that if it's not someone that's outside of their families and stuff,
they kill.
They kill. But what about people inside their families who end up having memory abilities.
Well, that's what
I
think.
reckon that they straight away say, take him in without people knowing, and, you know, that's what they do.
I'm probably confused in this with the second book or not, but Dane does mention he's part of a group that lets him keep his abilities for secrets to find out from enemies.
When's this one?
I can't remember exactly if it's
'Cause
in
it's
this
definitely
one,
not in that.
It must be in the bloody second one.
I don't remember.
So, forget I said anything for
Because Zane doesn't
No.
mention anything about
Dane.
his... Sorry. Dane. Oh, no. Yeah, I can't remember Dane talking about
He
that.
does mention something like that. Just they use his ability to take secrets from enemies.
I do know that he was allowed to keep it because it was only
by touch.
by touch.
Which let him touch an enemy to take secrets.
Yes. But come on. By touch, really? I just think that he just feels so not in control that somehow it develops into a touch ability.
We are gonna come back to this point you're mentioning where you get the book 3 and there's gonna be something in there that thinks, okay, he has to be more than anyone thinks he is.
But
once you get there, you're gonna understand a bit
So
more.
I haven't read book 3, so I don't know anything about what he's talking about. But I believe that Dane's ability hasn't been developed properly.
No.
It's been restricted. They knew that if he developed the proper way, I'm assuming that there are other techniques of development that, well, after knowing what's in the second book, I know what's what. But in the first book, I didn't know. And thought that there had to be other ways to develop things, you know? And it just felt weird that his ability to read minds was by touch.
Yeah.
It felt like let's say, let's go with, what? Let's go with something outside.
Yeah.
Just made up. Let's go with, alright, I need to cast Fireball,
Yeah.
but I have to keep saying the word.
The word.
But in
Word.
reality, that's only for a learner.
Yeah.
After you know the how to use it, the feeling, the amount of mana,
Yeah, what
and
you
all
wanna
that
do.
stuff, you can just think it.
Yeah.
And do it without having to put up your hand and saying the words.
So
you can
you're
just go...
You're thinking his hands, when he touches them to read, is like a conduit.
Yeah,
so
like
he
a
can
conduit.
focus,
Yeah,
because he's
kinda
still
like-
learning his ability. So
Yeah.
when he learns more of that, he'll be able to read anyone at any time.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, what they're... it doesn't go too deep into what he's getting taught in the
No.
first book. But from my perspective in the first book, before I knew what was happening in the second book, was that he must be getting taught how to read minds quicker in one touch without them seeing, or having more control without the other person controlling what he sees. But yet keeping a restriction of only being allowed to do it through touch, so it never got taught.
Or maybe he has to keep the restriction on it.
No, I don't think so. I think it was just fucking...
Or he was taught that by
The-
his father.
The father kept wanting to control him. I think anyone who has strong abilities gets controlled, that gets developed in one way, but doesn't show you how to fully develop it,
Yeah.
to control it better.
Oh, yeah.
They only want a weapon, as they
Weapon.
announced.
Yeah.
And Dane was a good weapon to infiltrate people's minds, but only by touch, because if he had to do it by anything else, he could read, well, his allies' minds,
Yeah.
which finds out that they weren't allies or something like that, you know?
But you gotta think, it's because I could tell from reading the book when you got more into it, Dane's own father never trusted Violet. As soon as
Yeah.
she became close to Zane. But if they wanted to, she would have been more of a powerful weapon than Dane because of what power she gets and what dragons she rides. Especially she bonded to two, but yet they couldn't control her.
Yeah, another thing about that which pissed me off the most is that they kept saying you can't control a dragon and what they do. But they controlled the fucking dragon no matter what by fucking punishing the writer.
The writer dies. The
Yeah, exactly. So if they say, "Oh, we can't tell the dragon what to do," but hey, I can tell you what to fucking do. I want you to
Well-
stay here, which means you gotta keep your dragon here.
Well, it's the thing.
Which
If
is
the
fucked up.
if the rider dies, the dragon's pretty much fine. But if the dragon dies, the rider's dead.
Which comes to my thinking in the first one, and this carried on to the second one because I don't know shit yet. Why the hell are dragons allowing the humans to decide anything at all?
But that's the thing. That's where I read from my point of view is that the dragons let them think they're deciding, but they're not.
Yeah, but all this other shit, which pisses me off in the second book, but I can't say anything about that yet. But in the first book, it already showed so much. People didn't want Violet to have two dragons because they were envious. They were, this never happened before.
Not in a long time, anyway, that we know of.
Yeah, exactly. And it just felt just.
She became public enemy number one when she bonded two dragons.
Yeah, everyone wanted the two dragons.
It's not just that. In the battle briefing, if I remember correctly, someone there asked if there was any more black dragons in the threshing, the bonding ceremony, I guess you can call it.
I believe that was. Someone asked, was that particular black dragon?
No, they asked if there was any black, because there are more black dragons, but they were asked if any black dragons were in the threshing that were going to bond. That professor said no.
Yeah, because there wasn't meant to.
Because there wasn't meant to.
The only reason why the dragon Terran even went to the play what was it even called, that trial?
The threshing.
The threshing, that's it. See, so much is going through my head that I forget things. The threshing, right? He only showed up because
the little one was there.
The little one was there, which, by the way,
and in danger.
We didn't know until later down in the book, is that everyone thinks that those type of dragons were weak dragons that weren't actually babies and full-grown dragons. The people thought. However, it's not the case. She was a baby dragon.
Yeah.
This whole time.
Yeah, so she only how you think of this is that the golden dragon was her first dragon she bonded with without even knowing she bonded with that dragon until Terran showed up. Because Violet saved Endana.
Yeah.
From the people. She protected her. But then
fucking Jack.
Terran showed up, landed, and he was talking to her. So he already pretty much bonded through her straight away. But she found out off him she was bonded to the golden dragon. She didn't know.
Yeah.
Until later when she got to where they put the names of the dragons on the list, he told her, don't forget her. And she realised she was bonded to two dragons.
Because technically speaking, the bond wasn't fully created.
No,
the sigil, which was on the back of her neck.
Yeah, it was on the two.
Wasn't there yet until after doing the papers and then getting it marked. Yeah. However that happened, which was crazy because I liked how Violet was just trying to protect a weak dragon because she was weak, but knew that this dragon had a better fighting chance than all that other stuff, and she wanted the dragon to survive. And after hearing what Jack and his fucking mates decided to try and do, which, by the way, she's fucking good at throwing knives. Did I not mention that already? She's fucking good at throwing knives, man. And yeah, I think with what I
didn't say anything.
Oh, what the dragon? I always forget his fucking name.
Terran.
See, this is another thing. Names, man. Terranarch. What he said to Violet.
Yeah.
Which do you remember the?
Yes. When he first came down and introduced himself, he went on and gave his full name. Like, he was bragging about who he was. Can't remember his full name, what he gave.
Yeah.
But he then said to Violet, I know exactly who and what you are.
That is what I was trying to remember. And that got me thinking about, hold on a minute. So he pretty much knew who she was by not only the colour of her hair and all that stuff, but the fact that he would have known the brother.
Yeah.
Because
of all that stuff. His last rider.
But also, the part where it said what you are. Why would you say who and what you are to a person?
And then completely, you can just brush over it later through the book. It doesn't get mentioned.
It doesn't get mentioned. Like, I mean, to Violet, she's probably thinking, "Oh, he means what I am. I'm a weakling. Yeah. You know, I'm fragile. That's what he means." But I was like, I don't think so. I feel like...
Or he knew she should not be there. She's meant to be in the scribe area.
Yeah, but what you are, I felt was like, there had to be something else that we're not knowing. Or maybe it was about what type of powers she can have. Or maybe something else that's on the father side that we don't know about.
No, we don't. Because Terranark always calls her Silver One because of the hair. But is it more to that than just the hair?
Well, I honestly don't know. I don't know anything about any of that part yet, you know?
No.
And that's the thing. It's killing me to know more, which I got like 6 chapters left of the second book, and then I'll be able to hit the third book. But even still, I won't be able to say anything about it until I get to the third book, which, by the way, I will actually start fucking taking notes on that. But anyways, it was... That kind of was like, hold the fucking phone right here, right now. What do you mean, what you are? What does that mean? But another interesting...
It wasn't just that. So when he said that, he kind of has, I guess, he's like basically... since he's basically a father to this golden dragon, not its actual father, but he kind of pretty much... is like another adoptive father of Violet.
Yeah, exactly.
And he just... I find it funny because sometimes... She can't stay on him because he's way too big. Bigger than any other dragon there. And she kind of has to wrap her thighs around and clench on, but she can't do that since her thigh muscles aren't built.
Yes.
And when she falls off, he goes, which I found funny, stop it, you're an embarrassing ass. And, like, he kind of gives off these, little, I don't know what you want to call them, but little things to help her pull her head in because she's just embarrassing herself when he knows she's stronger than she thinks she is. And, and in the book, if I remember correctly, no dragon is meant to bow before their rider. It's not allowed. They don't do that. But Terran does. He bows down so she can climb on. And I found that really, at first, really weird. I'm thinking he's breaking all the rules his dragons have set out just for her. Why just her?
And for someone who is apparently only 100 years old, he feels...
He feels wiser.
Wiser than most dragons. Because why would a 100-year-old dragon who is very powerful because of his species... bow down to a weakling no matter what, you know? Like, even if his last rider was who he was and how they were connected to the brother straight away, Brennan. That doesn't... Brennan, sorry. And all that stuff. So, there has to be something about that. And we all know straight away that dragons are people... Even in other books, dragons are prideful. They won't tell everything. They think that humans are weaklings and shit like that. They don't need to know anything about us. We only need to give them what they need to know.
Oh yeah, it's also she mentions the gods as well to the dragons, and he clearly says if I wrote it down, I'm pretty sure He says dragons pay no heed to your puny gods. But yet throughout the book and the series, he mentions one of the gods, particularly Malik, many times to her. Why? Why does he do that?
Yeah. Well, from my perspective, just from the first book, was I feel like to in my mind and in books that I have read, when someone says puny to another person, or to another thing, it's usually an immortal talking to someone below them.
Yeah.
You are puny mortal. Yeah. For him to say you are your puny gods shows that, hold on a fucking second, dragons are a bit more powerful than these so-called gods. Who are these so-called gods? And if these gods are real, and they can live on for whatever, however, and there's a whole fucking magical system that we don't know about, then that means that these dragons must be older, powerfuler, wiser, better than these gods.
That is no point of view.
So does that mean that... Sorry, but does that mean that this... Is it possible that humans weren't the actual first to make a bond? Is it possible that these gods were the actual first one, and the reason why he constantly talks about that particular god was because he was probably one of Taranak's riders before? Was there more to it? Like, how did this world... this getting too heavy into conspiracy theory now. Really, but, it's like all this other shit. Like, before the dragons came, it said that humans were part of this magical system already before dragons came. How did they live before dragons if magic was there? They already knew about magic. The enemies, the number one enemies, the ones who use the powers of the source, how were they not always corrupted then? Is there a possibility that the way you harness was different back then, and did it all change after the gods disappeared and the dragons came and all this crap? That's just a whole fucking heavy, deep fucking conspiracy theory right there for the book.
That is another one, but there is also a theory where he's actually older than the Professor's Black Dragon. And a lot more powerful. And because he does go on a bit where he's the leader of the clan and all that.
Yeah.
But more dragons, other dragons have more respect for him than they do with the other one.
Yes.
So that just lines up there a bit. But there is theories out there, and I've read them, that people believe that he is actually Malik.
Yeah.
One of the gods. Or one of the original 7 Riders dragon. He was there from the beginning.
Then why would... If I mean, there's a possibility that he was part of that, but...
Or Malik's dragon.
What about, which would then also comes into perspective about all these other possibilities, but it just... If he was Malik himself, why would he even talk about puny gods? Is it the idea of what the god was, the puny part, and what the real part is, them being actual dragons? I don't know.
Well, no one knows. What happens if most of their gods were, I guess you can say, humans of sort, had human bodies, but yet the important ones, like Dune and, if I remember that name, if I'm pronouncing that name properly, and Malik and all that, the main ones, what if they were all dragons, and these human gods that took over, and people started believing them, he doesn't believe in them, he hates them.
Well, if they were...
No one knows.
That idea, then where did the images of these so-called gods? Because there's not much description about the gods in the first book and so far in the second book. But, the idea of what they look like and stuff, which by the way, hasn't shown anything about that. So
No.
that's just a big theory of mine. But another interesting thing that's been on my mind, which never fucking gets asked about or told about, apart from the one time, was the Golden Dragon. Why was she even there in the first place? Why were they allowed to have not all these other baby dragons do that, but the fact that only one of them was allowed to go do it? Is there something important about her that is different to any other normal dragon? Because I'm assuming they would never allow any baby dragon to go there. So why her? Why was she allowed to go there?
See, I know the
There's
answer.
another thing.
I know the answer to that myself, but unfortunately, you don't. And I can't tell anyone that until you're up to that third book and you find out yourself.
Because it must be something important.
It's important, but
And to me, I'm just like, hold on a minute. Maybe I can, like, have some ideas and shit like that. Maybe there's, like, more than... If there are baby dragons that the humans don't know about, right? Because the dragons don't want them to know that, about the power,
yeah.
the gift that the baby dragons have at the time. But does that mean that there's a possibility that there's other types of dragons that may actually be real and they just don't want to be part of this? And does that mean that this whole, because they're part of a different fucking realm, in a sense, right? Like, where did the dragons come from and how so and all this other crap?
They've always mentioned the place they sleep is called the Vale.
Yeah. And in my mind, the Vale isn't a place that normal people can go, but the enemy can try and take them and all this stuff, which is weird, but it's complicated, but also so fucking interesting. But all these questions, and also there's like so many other things in here that I would like to discuss, so I'm gonna have to step away from this real after this little topic. But yeah, no, it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
And as I was saying, there's so much in here that I have to skip over because I already read the full fucking book before this podcast, right? And next time I'm probably going to have to break it up into parts for the third book because there's so much fucking information. So I'm going to talk about as much as I can about it, but the way the chapters are, there is some where it makes sense with the skips in time periods, right? But I overlooked something because I was so used to time skips for no reason. But there are some time skips in here that make no sense. Like, just thinking. Yeah, it was part of this one when they had to do that part where they had to go steal something. That was number 1, right? Yeah. There was this book where they had to go steal something and retrieve it. That part.
That's when the first attack happened. When the Mark ones got sent to that area.
No, but that was before this one.
Yeah.
It's part of all those games, yes, but this is the first one.
Yeah.
Where they had in the academy, they had to go find something that was important that flyers would want. And they had to act like them to try and see what they could find, and then so on and so forth. So, we all know that she found the map that showed the updated information about where all the outposts are and all that stuff in her mother's office. And many things were noticed in that. But at the end, when they, went there and stuff, we didn't get to hear what the judges said. It was a time skip and went straight to the next day. And some of it wasn't even, and it wasn't really mentioned. afterwards, which was strange because I myself would love to hear what the judges would have said about that. But yeah, there's a few different times where time skips happened that just were a bit strange.
Once you read all the books, once you read all the 3 books so far, things will start making more sense. Especially when you go back to the first book, those things you pick up on, how things aren't quite right, what they seem, or things have skipped. Things start to make sense. But you got to understand, when you read the first book, you read across things, and you think, okay, that doesn't really, shouldn't pay too much mind to that because it's not going to matter. But lately in the second book, when you read the second book, those things do come back up again, and you think, okay, I have to go back to the first book to try and make an understanding of this.
Yes. But yeah, so, which kind of started, my mind started working about it, while reading the second book. But it was mentioned in the first book, that's why I'm going to bring it up now, because my mind I was thinking about it constantly. But Imogen, she has the power to wipe people's minds, which is fascinating because that means that she can wipe Violet's mind anytime. So does that make sense to why there are some time skips that just don't make sense? I don't know, but I feel like that's the case. It just hasn't been mentioned. And on top of that, there is another person that we haven't talked about yet. Someone important. Liam. Liam.
Emotional roller coaster.
Emotional fucking roller coaster there. And I wanted to leave that to as much as possible, to the last part as much as possible. But, fuck. I was starting to like that one. I was starting to like Liam a lot. And honestly, I felt like there could have been something between Violet and Liam as well. But at the same time, he was getting the hots for her friend.
I can't even pronounce the name properly. Sorry,
I can't
it's gonna be
the scribe, the friend scribe, the one who is deaf.
I'm gonna say it's Gentsia. I'm probably getting the name wrong. I can't pronounce it properly.
I just go with Jess.
We're just gonna call her Jess for now.
For now, that's how my mind works. It was like Jess something. And so I just think Jess, because it's at the first part.
These things have been subscribed by.
Yeah, exactly. I wrote that down. Translated by Jess Naya. Jessania, maybe.
I'm just going to call her Jess.
I just call her Jess because that's the first 3 letters. Please let me know. Like, we're gonna have to fucking look it up because it's a possibility, but you never know. Let's see what comes first. Me looking it up or you messaging it first. You know, that type of situation. Yeah. So Liam, fucking hell. Not only was he a marked one at first year as well with them, but there was so much character development. I felt like there was still so much character development that needed to be done, but what happened was fucked up.
I feel like
before I even talk about that, let's just talk about how amazing he was.
Yeah.
It was probably the most fleshed out character to me. Yeah. I mean, there was Riddick and Rye and all that, but you know, I feel like their development wasn't really shown until the second book. So that's why I'm not talking about them as much. But Liam, his development was massive. We found out information which I didn't make sense of until the second book, was he had fast sight, but at the same time, at the last battle between when they had to fight the enemy, he used ice.
Yep.
I'm like, hold the fucking phone. Wasn't his first ability fast sight? And I was like, there must be something going on. Maybe the editors didn't edit this properly. I don't fucking understand. Because I'm so used to novels with mistakes and I have to like, hold on a second. But here, there shouldn't be any mistakes. So what the fuck's going on?
I was the same. When I came up across that thing and she said, can't remember the words, but she said, she then sees Liam shoot ice at one of the Ravens. I'm thinking, ice? Like, I went over, like, I went through pages and it was stuck in my head. I'm thinking,
yeah, exactly.
Ice. So I went back and thinking, this has to be a mistake in this building. Like, in this book. Has to be a mistake. And there was, apparently, everywhere, everyone had the same thing. They thought it was a spelling mistake or an edit mistake. It wasn't meant to be in the book.
Because when I read it was Liam, I was like, hold on a second. Yeah. Is the name wrong or what he did was wrong? Because that just doesn't make sense. But, not only that, it was the first book, Jack died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense because Violet had to. That was different. How she got the magic, her lightning. But that was intense as well. I'm skipping back just a few things just so I don't want to talk about that part yet, the last part for that. But the way she finally got her magic power, pretty much her magical powers, was insane. The fact that Jack was coming down on his dragon in front of the watchtower and was about to kill, or at least try to kill Liam, I think it was. Or, yeah, Liam.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Or Dane, I can't remember. It was alright. And one of her squad mates, he was going to, you know, and not only did and what's the dragon's girl name?
Endana.
Thank you. Endana. Endana used her gift to, allowed Violet to use her gift, time stop to go straight to where her squad mate was about to get killed by Jack.
Yeah.
And she just unleashed all this pent-up power, frustration in probably many ways than one, with the situation between
sexual frustration
between the fact that Xaden kept saying no, you don't want me, you don't need me, and all this other shit, and the frustration from Jack and all that, and just let it all out. By the way, that was awesome. And the fact that he finally died felt like great to me when I read the first book at the time. And that was, great to know. And at the same time, she has fucking lightning, which got me curious about why was it just lightning and... it was coming from down in the sky.
Yeah.
But there was no storms, which got me intrigued about her power. But yeah, lightning at the... She
was still learning it at that time.
Yeah.
Because if I'm pretty sure her mother has...
Storm
power. So basically thunder, and she was lightning.
Yeah, pretty much. And then you got the sister who was Shields, who had to use the wards... shielding.
Going outside the book.
Because going outside of... no, it was in this book.
I can't really remember. It's been a while since I read it.
Because they met again in this book.
Yes. No, they don't mention anything about shields and wards until the second one.
Well, look at that. I'm already saying some words that shouldn't be here because I'm just so excited to talk about this crap. Let's just forget about the shield part.
What the fuck is it? But no,
But at least the brother, he was a war...
brother doesn't come back until...
No, the very last. But we knew his power was healing. Because he would have been a good healer.
He's a... probably... He's a healer, but he can't bring someone back from the dead.
No, but he can heal men's like Nolan
Men,
does.
sort of, yeah, he's a man. He can mend
Um,
bones and breaks, but
Which, by the way, is crazy as well in that order. But yeah. So so many different things. Fuck. This is the thing. We're just constantly going back and forth about so many different things. Also the fact that Liam dying was nuts. Was crazy.
but we also got to bring up that
And those fucking words broke me.
it's been my honor.
It's been my
My honor.
honor. And that broke me, bro. Like, it was crazy.
Oh yeah,
The words. It was like so many different things. You know, it's been my honor to be your friend. It's been my honor to safeguard you. So many fucking different meanings in just those few words.
yeah. I mean, I read that moment as soon as it happened. I'm thinking it was all over social media and all that. I'm thinking, what are they on about? You know, it's like I've got so far nothing. He's not dead. What are they on about? You know, I get to that page and he says, you know, his dragon goes down. I'm thinking, oh no, Liam, this is how Liam dies.
That's the thing.
You know, this is it.
You could tell, like, once the dragon died, his dragon died, you knew, because it was mentioned in the first fucking book, that the dragon can or likely survive without the rider, but the rider cannot survive without the dragon. And it was right there that those words popped back into your head and realize the rider can't survive without the dragon. So no matter what, nothing could possibly work out for Liam.
She mentioned that when she was saying, she clearly said there was physically nothing wrong with him.
Nothing.
It was just Jane, if I'm pronouncing that it's the dragon's name. I can't pronounce their name properly. It's Deigh something.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as the dragon got hit and the dragon wasn't getting back up, Liam was gone.
Yeah. And I was like, fuck this. This chapter is going to be so fucking miserable because you're just going to be watching Violet, reading as Violet, being Violet, sit there and watching someone she was like a brother, almost like a brother to her, dying in her arms, and she couldn't do anything.
That's the dragon's name. It was Day.
Day.
If I'm really good. It was just kind of, but no, it's happened. When I read that, and then he says, it's been my honor, I think I put the book down. I didn't get emotional. I was like, fuck off.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, fuck off. I'm done. I'm out. I'm checking out, you know, because she thanked him for being her shadow.
Yeah. I think I stopped reading for like a full day after that part and got back to reading like the day after because I was just like, fuck this shit.
It took,
Fuck you.
you know, it took an emotional
Is
hit.
what happened.
Because even though this character in the beginning, when he came along, like, okay, he's just, you know, Zane's best friend, she's just going to watch out.
Yeah.
But you got to know him more, because those two were basically always together.
Yes.
And you think, okay, maybe she's going to date him before she dates Zayden. That's how it's going to go. But no, it didn't happen. He was the shadow, and basically almost her best friend.
Yes.
And then he died, and it's like, your whole world just crumbled.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that was it.
And it was just, you know, and the worst part was that there was nothing for her to do, and it was fucking stupid. And then all she could do was just scream and let out her power against all the wyverns and shit like that, which is fucked up how the wyverns apparently get created in the first book.
Like, I hated the Venom, really did.
Yeah.
But the ones that came then and the ones that come after, I get on your nerves so much. It just, you know, you picture yourself there, you do, and it's like, even though they get on your nerves so much, you just feel like if this character development for these reigns didn't happen, the book would be boring.
Yeah, exactly. But on top of that, what pisses me off the most about the schooling system in this is that why the fuck are they only teach them how to fight on dragons against flyers, which by the way, flyers are pretty much shit at flying higher heights, so they
Yeah.
always have an advantage. Why the hell do they not teach? Why did they even have the idea of hiding the fact that Vernon, Vernon. See, I got it right this time. Vernon fucking exist, and that dragon's fire doesn't kill him. Your own powers don't kill him. Pacific daggers kill him, and the only other fucking person who could kill him was Violet with her power, which, by the way, is oh, that's in the second book. I can't fucking say about that.
That's what got me confused, is that they wanted to kill the Mark ones in this book.
Yeah.
But they knew Violet's power could kill the Vant too. They didn't always need weapons. Why didn't they just trust her?
Yeah, that's the thing. Why do they have to do all this? Why do they have to hide this information from the public? And why they're just, frustrates me.
Like, for example, Terranar could have came out and told Violet what's really out there.
Yeah, why the fuck did
Straight away
he
when
lied as well?
But he didn't, because he knew she had to work it out herself.
Yeah.
Because you gotta understand, her father gave her books as a kid.
Which, by the way, I believe he would have known
I reckon
about
he did,
it
because he gave Violet...
He's constantly watching her, even though he says he's not. It's so fucking obvious that he's constantly listening in on her.
Yeah, because
Apart
you get...
from those intimate scenes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, you gotta understand, the father gave her books as a child. These little, I guess you want to call them fiction, fantasy books that no one really paid much attention to. But they mentioned a vein in there. And she had to go back to them and start connecting the dots. So her father was basically teaching her what everyone knew already, the higher ups anyway.
Oh, talking about that, it was a fucking forbidden book as well. And she was so fucking lucky because she didn't know that it was. And she thought it was anyone knew about it, right? And she went to her friend Jess, the scribe, and asked if she could find that book. And it wasn't in the system. Fucking so lucky that Jess decided not to write anything down about it like she would usually, because she would have died. Fine, because after hearing all this stuff and how they want to hide secrets about it as much as possible, why the fuck would they have a fairy tale about them?
Yeah, their own history was rewritten to fit what they needed.
And that's the thing. So many times she could have talked about it to anybody in the school and she would have fucking died, but not once did she talk about them. Not even to her best friends, only to Xaden. So she was fucking lucky. Which is another thing is what kind of annoyed me in the first book is that she's a smart woman.
Yeah.
But after finding out that apparently they don't exist, or the fact that they are well, no, because Xaden never mentioned to her that they actually were real evil in the first book. Not until later when they had to fight him.
She had to connect the dots. But you gotta understand, Violet and Xaden are bonded together as well through their dragons.
Which is another thing that I keep forgetting to talk about.
Because their dragons, Sigel and Terran, are mated.
Yes.
So they're bonded. But you gotta understand, this where it gets to me, is that Terranar would kill Xaden no matter the cost if he hurt Violet. You could tell that he would go after him.
Yeah.
But there is a theory, well, not kind of theory, I've been thinking about it, that if, because they all technically will die if one of them died. Especially the dragon, because they're all bonded together.
Yeah, because it said in this that the bonds become stronger each time a dragon bonds.
So the question is, if Terranok died, and since she's bonded to two dragons, would only a part of her die? Like a soul? Like a part of a soul die? Or not, because she's bonded to another dragon?
The way I see it is... Was it mentioned at all if a mated dragons die if one of the other dies?
I think they would, since they are mated, because it does affect. If one dies, the other one dies. Especially if I remember correctly, someone said, I'm not too sure it's been confirmed. I can't remember, but if Terranak or Sigel dies, Xaden dies, Violet dies.
Well, let's put it this way.
I think that's what they said.
Because dragons fucking lie.
Yeah.
It's obvious that they
That
lie.
is another one. The author did confirm dragons. One of the dragons in this book is lying about who they are.
Yeah. So, is it possible that they lied about how the mating part works and how long they have to stay? Well, anyways, not that part isn't necessary to know about, but the fact that if he killed Xaden, technically speaking,
He would be hurting Violet.
no, not really, because if you take into all the accounts I'm about to speak about, first and foremost, there's a possibility that Soul, whatever her name was, the dragon that was that was partnered with Xaden, Sigel, thank you. She could still have survived.
Maybe.
Because there's still a possibility that she will still survive, just like how Jack's dragon survived and took on another rider.
Well, they're only Xaden and Violet are only bonded together, like I guess mind meld, because they can read it through the bond through their dragon.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that if Xaden died, there's still the possibilities of not dying.
Yeah. Well, I think they did mention that they had to pretty much.
But there's that high possibility that it's possible for them to die.
As long as the mating bond is intact, both of them can die.
Because no one's ever bonded with a dragon that was bonded 2 times already.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you gotta understand that which made things difficult is that the mated dragons can't go without each other for more than 3 days. So it made things very difficult throughout the series for them to be in contact with each other all the time.
Exactly.
Especially in here. It does bring up that when she had to learn how to put up a shield inside her head so she wouldn't get the feelings that when, I guess you can say, the dragons are mating with each other, she doesn't feel their sexual tension inside her head, which makes her draw towards Xaden.
Yes.
Which,
by the way, just intensified the tension between her and Xaden at the time, which was crazy. Which, retrospect, out of everything that we talked about, it's probably the least thing that we actually talked about so far. And there's just so much stuff that we can talk about that we've already been talking about for an hour and a half.
Yeah, hour and a half, yeah.
And, there's still so much to talk about, but I guess at the end of the day, we're not here to
ruin the book for everyone.
Well, no, actually, this part will go at the very beginning as well. I'm gonna have to do it. I should have fucking said at the start. Spoilers are fucking ahead, bro. Like, if you haven't read the fucking book, don't even watch this, because we're just going to talk about the whole entire thing. Or as much as we can think about, because there's so much shit,
Yeah. I have written down.
Only watch if you've read, and also by the way, if you've already read this, please watch it all and put comments about stuff that you think about, what theories you have, and all this stuff. Of course, only for the first book. The second book later, we'll talk about that next time.
Even if you think we've left something out, that we haven't brought up that you thought maybe it was a good point to bring up, we can also bring it up in the next video before we talk about number 2.
Yeah, exactly. I can always read the comments and then add that stuff into the next video of this series, That would be a good idea too. But the last thing that is pretty much needs to talk. Well, before that, the fact that Xaden is actually rebelling as well and actually helps Flyers with getting weapons that take out the actual enemy and all this stuff. But the last thing that blew my mind away, and how they fucking left it off a cliffhanger because they just love to do things like that. The brother was alive. And not only did she just find out about the truth of that the real enemy is out there, and on top of that, Xaden being a rebellion and actually helping the Flyers and all this stuff, and so her love for him is like damaged at the moment, but still loves him, but can't have him, and all this other shit. And then on top of that, my fucking brother's alive. What the fuck? I need to tell my family.
And I love how...
But she can't, because if she does, then she has to say everything else.
I love how he says to Violet, you're a violent little thing, aren't you?
Yeah, violence.
He also calls her Violence.
Violence.
And it's so hilarious because it's like, even when she's training her powers, and she's exhausted, and the professor wants her to do it again, tearing in the head, should I go get the wing leader? Because I knew what happened the day before that happened.
Yeah.
Which was funny.
That was pretty funny. But I liked how it is in first person.
Yeah.
So we can't see anything that happens outside of her perspective. If she doesn't know about it, it's not happening. We won't know anything about it. And I liked how, with that perspective, her first time using lightning was when she first kissed Xaden, and Xaden saw it. And he thought maybe it's what her power was. But it was only mentioned after Xaden said, I pretty much knew what you were and what you had. And she was like, how? And he was like, well, when we first kissed, there was a bit of tingling electricity coming through your fingers and stuff like that. Which a fucking big hint about the fact that she doesn't need to just have to come from the sky.
No, she learns to do that other stuff later. But which I found interesting is that it takes time for their powers to appear.
Yeah, but it has
that's
to
dangerous
be,
as
but
well.
it has, the latest I think is 6 months before they explode.
Yeah, because that's the thing. If your powers don't appear within that threshold, you can die from it because it needs to be released.
Yeah, because it's just constantly building up.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. But on top of that, then comes while you're trying to get that power, you can use lesser magic.
Yeah.
Which, at the time, can't do much about that. But she was already pretty good with her abilities, and she was learning to shield out the dragons mating and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the fact that fucking Dane never believed anything that happened to her, and then took fucking the fact that she almost got killed while sleeping.
He didn't believe it.
He didn't believe it, and he didn't believe that who was the one that opened the door.
And
was another wing leader who wasn't allowed to do that. Because the rule was the rule was that if the person's sleeping, you're not allowed to touch them.
Yeah, it's and also it's just not when she told that to him. First thought was, let me read your memory.
Yeah,
just that. Like when the dragon turned up, if I remember, shared that memory with everyone, so she could prove that actually happened.
Yeah,
but he didn't believe it until the dragon showed him as well.
Yeah, exactly, and he, on top of that, he got the memory of them leaving to Xaden, the memory of Violet talking to Xaden about him going to...
What she saw with that tree.
No, not that. It was... I don't know if it was the first time they talked about it, when he mentioned that he went to... It would
have been all of it. The tree thing, everything, because He told her.
But I'm just trying to figure out when he did it without consent. Because he always touches the face, right?
Yeah.
And the last time that happened was the kiss,
That's
right?
when he read it.
That's when he read it.
That's when he read it. Yep.
So not only did he kiss her because he wanted to kiss, but he actually does that mean that he kissed her just so he can touch her
I
face
think
to
he-
get memory?
That's the thing. I feel like he had
The father definitely told
some
him to do
kind of
it.
feelings for her, but not the way everyone thought. That, oh, okay, this is, she's not going to fall. Like, she's going to fall for the bad boy, but eventually she's going to find out her best friend's actually better for her. Turns out it wasn't. I feel like that kiss was the only way he could get close enough to her to read her memory. And that was the order from the father.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
think he wanted to, but like he said, he's strict with the rules, and it came from an order from the father.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, he just fucking pisses me off because he doesn't think. He thinks, oh, since you're my best friend, I can do this without your consent and all this stuff. It's just like, no, since she's your best friend, you're supposed to believe her than anything and then feel betrayed if she was lying, not thinking, oh, you're betraying me because you're lying to me, but then finding out that it's not the case, and then you fucking still expecting her to talk to you after all this shit, and it's just like, fucking grow up, man.
What I found annoying is that with all this shit going on, she almost died so many bloody times from the... Where was her mother in all this?
Yeah, that's another thing. Her mother, ends up...
She basically trusted... Since she made the deal with Zayden, she basically trusted her with her life, right? And
Yeah, but we don't know that. That wasn't in the first book about that, though.
But I have a feeling with everything going on, she keeps dying, but she knows she's with Zayden. She's like, they're safe with them together. She doesn't want to get involved. Or she can't get involved because there was a theory out there that the mother was always part of the rebellion and still was, but she had to play a cover. But the reason why she was so bitchy and so resentful of the things is because when she lost her husband, she went into a whole shell and just became an ass.
Yeah. That's another thing. That's one of my theories there, is that it wasn't just Zayden's father who was part of the rebellion, but it was Zayden's father who... Oh, they realized that what they were doing wasn't going to work, and that the enemy, their allies, were getting too close to finding out information. Maybe Zayden's father was the one that, decided to take the... put it onto him, and then he gets killed and stuff like that, and then a bunch of other people decide, alright, we'll go with you, and all that. But at the same time, that also doesn't make sense because of the way the situation was, and how it was, and how Zayden hates Violet's mother and all that too. But it's just so much complications, so many different things going on at the same time, and just trying to wrap your heads around it. That's what a good book is.
Yeah.
It's not solely on just one thing, but all this information about other things, other complications that you gotta solve, but at the same time they don't fucking get solved properly. It only makes things even worse in the second book, laying down the track.
I'm gonna give everyone a little heads up, is that when you're reading these books, don't get attached to any character. That's all I gotta say.
That's another thing
because
that I should have fucking known about.
What I heard from social media is, I'm not too sure if it's right or not, but the author is not afraid to kill anyone off.
Yeah, so that means that fucking the sister could die, the mother could die.
And anyone could die.
And then there's a possibility that fucking Zayden could die now, and all this other
Riddick
shit.
could die, and we don't want to lose Riddick.
Ryan could die, or Rihanna, whatever you want to call her name, could die. All this other... all this other shit. Also, they made another friend as well. That originally hated marked ones.
You're talking about Sawyer.
Huh?
Sawyer?
In the first book.
Sawyer. He went around the second time to try and bond a dragon. You don't talk about
a
him?
girl.
Go. I'm just trying to think of her.
It started with an N.
Oh, yeah.
What was her name?
I can't barely remember.
I can't remember either.
No.
Yeah, no. She was...
It's just these characters who appear but yet only get mentioned a few times. They don't...
Yeah, exactly. So
around.
they don't stick in my head. And then some other names that do stick in my head, I just don't know how to pronounce them. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's everything we could probably possibly...
Well, yeah, I mean, you still got, you got some, I think probably some theories, like bloody,
Yeah, you got any more theories for that book there?
Well, question, there is a theory going around, her power, lightning power. There is a theory saying that it's not lightning, it's power itself. Because you got to understand, if I remember correctly, the signet powers that they get just showed you what they are. Just showed you who you are as a person. Yes, you channel basically through your dragon, but the powers are already within inside you.
There's more evidence on what her power could be in the second book. It's just... It is all about the first book.
We're not up to that yet. So we're basically going along, and she's basically right now has training wheels. She's learning to control herself. Trying not to fall for the bad boy.
Not only does she have training wheels on here, but also on top of that, she has restrictions that she doesn't even know about that she's getting taught, so that she can't go full. She can't get off her training wheels. But so in a sense, they're teaching her how to get off her training wheels.
Yeah.
That they are allowing her to know about, but yet they have restrictions on her so that she can't get off her training wheels that she doesn't know about.
Yeah, it's just not that, because you read through this book and she gets to the end, you think there's no one she can trust.
Yeah, like she was already getting trained by Carl, wasn't she?
Carl.
Yeah, in this.
Yeah, he was that.
But in that, he wasn't even training her to aim at the time. It was just the amount and how strong they are.
Yeah.
And how the distance.
And how many times she can do it.
Yeah, and that was it. It's like, yeah, great. That's cool. Good to know. Good stuff. But what about aiming? What about when you're in a proximity where the enemy's there, but you got your own team coming in, and you try to strike, your aim's gonna be off, and you're just gonna kill your own teammates.
If I remember, Professor Carl is the one that snapped that kid's neck. He had the mind reading.
Yes, he was the one as well. But at the same time, he's not as... I don't know. He's also not in a know. I don't think he's in a know, so he's just getting taught. He's just doing what he was taught to do.
Yeah, kill people who have powers that they shouldn't have.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which I was shocked at first. I didn't see that coming even when that happened. Was like, okay, this guy's going nuts. Screaming's going on. He's going nuts.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you just see Professor go...
Yeah, but at the same time, there's a whole full fucking page or two of him saying things, and you're like... What the fuck is he on about?
Yeah, like,
and it's starting to realize, hold on a second, he's reading people's minds. And this is a really powerful one. Because he's not even touching anyone.
Yeah.
And all this other crap. And then suddenly, that was it.
He just basically walks off like nothing bloody happened.
Yeah, and I was just like, clean up, Clue, come on.
Yeah.
That type of situation. Which, oh man, yeah. It was crazy.
But I found that not a lot of people... decided to mess with Violet. They did after when she bonded, but over the course of time they stopped messing with her because of what she became, of how tough she grew to be, and how strategic she was, and dangerous with those daggers, but she knew not to mess with the writer of Terran.
Now, I would love to keep talking about this, but we've just hit almost a 2 hour mark.
Yeah.
Well, we started, we pretty much hit the 2 hour mark, And honestly, I highly doubt any of you will probably watch that whole entire thing. Please watch the whole entire thing, because even if it's just background noise, you know. Yeah, as I was gonna say, thank you. You know, this is such an amazing book, amazing series so far. The second book I'm about to finish, and there's so much crap in it, which I'm excited to talk to you about, and all this other stuff. So, if you have any questions that you, or any things that you want me to mention from the second book or anything like that, let me know so that we can have other things to talk about and stuff.
Well, you were planning on making the next video since the second book's so big, has over 60-something chapters, and you want to break it up into two.
I would love. I'll be doing that for the third book,
right? Yeah.
Because it's just as big as the second one. I had to check that out, but at the time, we weren't. I haven't started figuring this stuff out yet. The second book, I'm almost finished. 6 chapters left. So all we're gonna do is just talk about it again like this. But the third book, I'm planning to break it up into if it's like quarter of the book way in, or probably halfway mark where it's part 1 and part 2 situation. You know, that situation. But at least that time, I will have my notes, my book next to me while reading and writing down, shit, this is pretty good, I need to write this down, type situation. So that's the plan. This won't be like a thing where every week it's a podcast.
Because it's going to take some time I have over, I think, good maybe 100 books right now.
And
probably.
On top of that, it takes time to read, on top of that, work and all that other stuff. But that doesn't mean I won't be uploading every week. I will be uploading once a week. Fridays, hopefully. I haven't determined yet. Whatever day this actually comes out on is the day that we'll be doing it. I just don't know yet what it is. So, hello everyone to whatever day that is.
Hello to the future.
But, as I said, more information about what I actually will be doing is in the video prior to this. But there are so many cool ideas that I could do, but at the same time, involves you guys helping me out and hitting that subscriber button and like and comments as well. And thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Cheers.